I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the parking area for the Meadow School Trail. There's the trailhead right there. It goes down the west side of the mountain. There's my little red car. Up here is Skyline Drive, and I'm going to come up here and turn right and head south on Skyline Drive for a short distance and then turn left. And we're going to go down the east side of the mountain on Slaughter Trail. It's a long ways to the bottom, like maybe 5 miles each way, but I'm only going to go about halfway down. The elevation here is 3250. Okay, well it's just it's not even hardly 50 yards. My car is right there. Maybe you can see it a little bit through the trees. Come south on Skyline Drive, and right here is the turnoff. So let's head on down here and see if we can find the trailhead for Slaughter Trail. I think it's down this way. Okay, well up there Skyline Drive, you come down this little gravel road here. There's a turnaround here, and right there you'll see the road's chained off. So this looks like the beginning of the Slaughter Trail right here. Two-tenths of a mile into my hike, I'm down to 3170. There's where I came from, down from Skyline Drive, and you come down here just a short distance, like a tenth of a mile. You'll see this signpost here, and the gravel road heads off to the right, and that takes you down to the Bearfence shelter. But we're going to continue on. This is the old Slaughter Fire Road, so we're going to follow this on down. Well, I'm glad I'm getting here before this grass gets really tall. It doesn't look like there's any gravel left on this road from here on, so it's just going to be later on this summer. This is going to be pretty nasty hiking through tall grass, but right now it's fine. So let's head on down. We're still walking down the fire road here. So far, been pretty nice hike. It's a little wet and squishy in some places though. Anyway, when we get down here a little further, we're going to have to cross there's a feeder stream that ultimately feeds into the Conway River, and it's called the Devil's Ditch. So we get down here, we're going to have to get across that. Judging from how wet everything is up here, there may be a pretty good flow through the ditch there. So we'll see what happens when we get there, folks. One mile into my hike, I'm down to 2850, and there's the Devil's Ditch. There's looking upstream. There's where I came from, down the Slaughter Fire Road. There's a couple of big trees here. I might be able to cross there. Or maybe jump. I don't know. Just see how lucky I feel. Let's come down here a little ways. See if I can get across here without getting completely wet. I would jump from that rock right there, but it's got that moss on there. Oh boy, that's pretty overgrown over there too. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. .3 miles into my hike, I'm down to 2890, and I'm in the vicinity. According to my GPS, I'm within maybe 300 feet or so of the location of the Michael Roach homestead that was here back before the park was formed. There's where it came from. And you get to a bend, and just before you go uphill, I'm looking up this way. See how clear that is up through there? I mean, that almost looks like it used to be maybe a road or a driveway going up there. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to stop here and wander around just a little bit, see if I can find any evidence of where the old Michael Roach homestead used to be. Well, I don't see any evidence of a homestead. I've been looking around. I'm in the general area according to the old map. And when you climb up here, I mean, that area right there is pretty flat. And then maybe you can see the contour of the mountain right there. It's got a slope going down to the right. And then it continues on up the side of the mountain here now. Looking up this way, I swear that looks a lot like an old road or trail heading on even further up the side of the mountain. Maybe all the way to the ridgeline of Lewis Mountain. I don't know. But I'll take a look at my position here when I get home. That right there almost looks like an old road or parking area. And then right down there seems to me like a perfect spot to build a house. If you can imagine it being cleared off here, you'd be looking down into the valley, and also over there across the way are some more mountains. Be a beautiful view from up here. But I don't really see anything. So I'm just going to mark the location and then just move on. So I'm back out on the Slaughter Fire Road. There's where I came from, and I've only hiked a couple hundred yards further south, and there's a little stream here that crosses with a culvert. Okay, and then right here's this poured concrete, well, it looks like a support for a gate. So I don't know, maybe there was a gate here associated with the Roach property. I mean, maybe the gate went from there over this way, and because if you look up that way, that takes you up to where I was looking for the homestead. So This could have been a gate, support for a gate maybe, that went up that way. It's on the north side of the road. Either that or it's somehow associated with this little creek here. I don't know, man. Can't figure this one out. I'll mark the location. .1 miles into my hike. I'm at 3,000 feet right now. It's been up and down some. There's where I came from, and this section's kind of foggy. When you're heading south, when you get to this rise right here, just if you look to the left, over here is a nice area. It even looks like there's a little bit of a trail going back in there. Make a nice little camp spot. And just before you get to here, that's on the left when you're heading south, over here on the right, there's also some possibilities, including down that hill just a little ways. So I'll mark this on my as a potential camping spot. Looks pretty nice. There's no water. Well, you'd have to get water. You'd have to backtrack to that spot I showed you with a concrete gate post. That might be a quarter of a mile back, but you could get water there. .3 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 2975. Been pretty flat lately, and I'm at a fork in the road. Now if you want to follow this slaughter trail all the way down to the Conway River, you go to the left, and it's another couple of miles from here down to the river. That's a nice hike, but it's really steep, and I'm almost done with my, I'm going to try and keep it to about 5 miles today. It's been months since I've been out here because of the COVID lockdown. But instead of going left, I'm going to go right and head up this way, around the bend, and see if maybe I can find some old homestead stuff up here on the right, to the right of this road. Cora, Roach. We'll see if there's anything. I didn't find any luck back there behind me, but maybe we'll see something down this way. .5 miles into my hike. I'm up to 3,100 feet. I've been climbing the mountain here, trying to get to a set of coordinates where Cora Roach's homestead might have been. I'm getting, according to my GPS, I'm within about 100 feet now. It's kind of hard to see through here because of the fog. Maybe you can see it's still pretty foggy up here. But look at that, that's a pile of rocks next to that tree. That's no coincidence. So maybe we're getting close. But there's a rock pile for sure. Three miles into my hike. That's where I just came from, looking for any evidence of the Cora Roach homestead or a cemetery. I didn't see anything up that way. I wandered around quite a bit. You'll be able to tell from my GPS track. But I didn't have any coordinates, just a general area on a map from an old report, so who knows. Anyway, that's where I came from. And there's the split. that takes you down the rest of the way down to Conway River. And that's a really nice area down there by the river. But it is steep. From here down the rest of the way, it's pretty steep. So I'm going to turn around and start heading back. It's going to end up being 5-6 miles time I get back to my car. So it's been a couple of months since I was able to do any hiking, so it was good to get out and get back into the park. It's not totally open right now. You can only hike from Skyline Drive. You can't hike from the bottom anywhere, any of the trailheads at the bottom. They're still closed off. And all the restaurants, picnic areas, all that stuff's still closed. But you can get up on Skyline Drive and you can enjoy the overlooks. Not today though. See how foggy it is? And I've been getting rained on a little bit too, not much, but some. So let me head on back towards my car. I noticed this thing on the side of a tree. I thought it was just a tree tag, but I came over here and read it and it says SNP Bear Monitoring 2 EB0111. Huh. Let me turn this, I'll try this sideways and see if you can read it. Anyway, so I guess that's a, maybe when they see a bear in the area, they mark the location and then they can follow them around. Man, I tell you what, it's getting more and more foggy. Look at this. I still got to get across the Devil's Ditch again. I almost fell in because the rocks are covered with this clear white or clear slime. It's some kind of like clear slime or algae. That stuff is ultra slippery when it's wet. I just passed that little stream where I was showing you on the way out. I was showing you that concrete, that poured concrete, like gate support. And darn if I didn't just find another one. Huh. This is in the same general area as the first one. Four miles into my hike, the elevation here is 2860. Got to get back across the ditch here, Devil's Ditch, and then back up towards my car. Five miles into my hike, the elevation here is 3110, and this is the Bearfence shelter. It's for AT through hikers. It's the way I came from. Since it's so foggy, I'm just going to take a quick video and then head on back to my car. But this is the typical design. Let me see if I can get back a little bit. Typical design for a shelter. It's a three-sided, massively built out of stone. And then here's the fire pit right here, designed to reflect heat. Designed to reflect heat into the shelter in here. It's got two levels, up here, down there, and there's a log book in here. But you know, with all the COVID stuff going on, I think I'm just gonna forget about that. Down there's the maybe if you can see that yellow band, that's where the spring is for fresh water. That looks like a bear-proof storage locker right there. Before those, they had these bear poles where you could hang your stuff. So I'm going to sit here for a minute and drink some water, and then I'm going to continue on back to my car. It's probably another half a mile back up to my car. You know, I was sitting there eating some peanut butter crackers and drinking that water, and I was noticing, you see how white and powdery that ash is? And it's all wet and dreary around here, and that ash is not wet at all. And I can smell it. And I put my hand down here, and I can feel there's plenty of embers under there. That fire's still burning. Nobody around. Fire's still burning. They never even bothered to put it out. Here's the spring for the shelter. It's got a pretty nice flow right there. Up there's the shelter. Now, this is getting kind of discouraging. There's a MSR gas cylinder for a cooking stove. Somebody decided they just couldn't carry it another mile. Plastic cup. Oh, let's see what else I can find here. Bottle cap, probably off a beer can. A cig. Not sure what that is. Well, guess I better get my stuff together and head back up to my car, folks. There's one of the old style outhouses, pit style. Most of those have been pulled out and replaced with the composting outhouses, but there you go, one of the old ones. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Fletcher 1999, and I hiked down the Slaughter Fire Road. The Slaughter Fire Road is one of the old fire roads that runs from the top of the mountain here all the way down to the east side of the mountain down to the Conway River. This red line is Skyline Drive, and you park here on the west side, here where it says gate. You park here. This is about mile marker 57. And then you come out and you head south on Skyline Drive for like 50 yards, turn left, and then you'll come down. There's a bit of a gravel road that comes down here and brings you over to the Bearfence shelter. Now I skipped that on the way down, stopped by there on the way back up. But the gravel stops here. From here all the way down the rest of the way, they're maintaining it, meaning they're keeping it clear. The Park Service keeps it clear. If a tree falls across, they'll go down there cut it up and move it off to the side. But other than that, there's no grading or gravel on here anymore. But I followed this on down about a mile to right about here, and right there is where you cross a creek that flows into the Conway, and this area is called the Devil's Ditch. You can see right here it empties into the Conway River way down here. Now most of the time, if it's been raining at all in recent history, this thing's going to have a fair amount of water flowing in it, so be prepared. You might get your feet a little wet getting across there. And then I followed this on down to here, and then I climbed up a little ways up the west side, to the west of the trail here, looking for if there was any ruins of this Michael Roach homestead, which was right in this area. Now, I didn't have exact coordinates for that, but I went up there in the approximate area. And when you're looking around on the side of the mountain here and everything looks about the same, and then all of a sudden you find a flat area and the trees are different and the undergrowth is different, and you start seeing piles of rocks, you know, that's a pretty good indicator that that's the approximate area where the house was. So I looked around here, didn't really find anything. Then back down to the trail. I was going to come up here and look for an old school, but I decided not to do that. It was really foggy, and that limited my vision. Followed this on down to here. This is about 1.8 miles from the top or so, and there's a fork in the road. Now, if you want to go down to the Conway River, you take the left fork and follow this section of trail on down to the river here. That's a nice hike, but it's really steep, and I didn't feel like going that far yesterday, so I took the right hand fork in the road, which is almost like a driveway coming up here, and it's supposedly a Cora Roach had her homestead up here. So I climbed up this side of the mountain here looking for that, and I did find rock piles and a couple other things, but I didn't find any evidence of the actual house, like a chimney or anything like that. Didn't find that stuff. And there was some discussion in a report that I read about a cemetery south of the house, but since I never found the house, I never found the cemetery either. Now, there was another homestead indicated here, but I didn't go this far. I just came to here and then turned around and back on up the fire road back to my car. Pretty nice hike. Now, the only thing about this road is that it is pretty much covered with grass now. So what's going to happen in about another month, right now the grass is only about 6 inches high or so, but in another month or so, that grass, it can get to be like 3 or 4 feet high, and that's really bad hiking conditions because for ticks. So this is really best hiked in the wintertime. Now, if the Park Service decides to go down through there and mow that whole road, that'd be great. But I think about 5 years ago I hiked this, and it was really tall grass. So I'd hike it in the wintertime myself. You can get from the parking lot down to Bearfence. That's no problem at all. That's covered with gravel. And then just north of here, about a half a mile to the north, is a parking lot that says Bearfence parking, and that'll take you to a trail that is like a rock scramble. That's kind of a fun hike to take up there. This ended up being 5.6 miles and about 1,000 feet of ascent. So, pretty nice hike. Yesterday, when I actually took the hike yesterday, it was only the second day that the park has been open since they closed it completely for a long time because of the COVID-19 virus, and now they're starting to open it back up. But it was pretty crowded up there because the only thing that's open right now is Skyline Drive and the overlooks. That's it. And a few bathrooms. That's it. You can't hike in from the bottom. None of the campgrounds are open. None of the restaurants are open. So anybody that goes into the park, everybody's concentrated along Skyline Drive right now. It would be better if they'd open up the entire park and people could spread out more. But they've, in their infinite wisdom, they've decided to just open up Skyline Drive so everybody is concentrated. You go by these parking lots up there along Skyline Drive and they're all just jam-packed full of people right now. So if you're listening, Park Service, you might want to open up the rest of Shenandoah. And that was the hike for today.